What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings as we beat Fulham by 2-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. And let's get straight into it, starting off with Hugo Lloris. 8s all round from us. Brilliant display from Hugo. He was faced with to deal with 3 shots, and 2 of them really hard deflected efforts that looked to be looping over Hugo Lloris, and he got one hand to them and a brilliant saves at that. And not only that, but I felt he was really commanding from corners and crosses, where he was catching quite a few of them, and did really well yesterday, and definitely a much improved performance than it was against West Ham.
Yeah, he didn't really have, as in the distribution, he wasn't really pressured as much as he was at West Ham, so it made it a bit easier for him in that sense. But from a goalkeeping point of view, you could argue we got 3 points because of those saves he made, and that's what a good goalkeeper does. When they're not too involved in the game and they're called into actions for big moments, they step up, and that's exactly what happened. I thought the first one from Mitrovic was a good save, but one you expected to make. But the second one late in the game, where it's looping right into the top corner, and it's almost behind him when he claws it out and makes sure we get all 3 points, was a phenomenal save in my book, and one of the saves of the season so far, and I really needed him in that moment. Other than that, he was untested, so it would have been a travesty if those were the goals he conceded, 2 deflections, but he did really well to save them. And I agree, there was some really good moments where set pieces, he was relieving the pressure off the fence and got us possession back. So good display from Hugo.
All right, let's move on to Cristian Romero, back in the team. Sim gives him a 7, I gave him a 6. His influence on the team is clearly there for all to see. When he's in the team, we just look like a more fluid team. We can pass it out from the back. He does those lovely dinks over the midfield that really can set us on our way. So he did have a really good influence on the team, and I think for the most part did play well. But for me, I marked him down on when he did switch off in the latter stages of the game, because it really did put us under a bit of pressure. He got beaten by Mitrovic quite easily, and a bit later when Mitrovic did have that deflected shot, a few moments after that, I thought Kuti should have done better there as well. So I just marked him down for his errors later on in the game.
Yeah, which was disappointing, because I did think it was a really encouraging comeback from Romero after he's missed the last 3 games. I thought he played really well. His aggression was there for all to see. Got an early booking in the first half as Romero usually does, classic Romero, stopping a counter-attack. But I thought in general he was really good, and he allowed us to play out from the back with a bit more composure and incisiveness like he does. But yeah, at the end of the game, he did switch off for Mitrovic's first goal, which was very disappointing. For the one that's deflected, he actually deflected back off him, so he got back there, but nearly looped over him. But he should be doing better. I don't know what it was. Maybe he should have been taken off, because he seemed very tired. The way he was moving, didn't get close to Mitrovic for both those efforts. And I think in that moment for the goal they scored, he's got to make sure that Mitrovic can't cut inside on his right foot there. He's got to force him down on the left, and I felt like he way too easily allowed Mitrovic to cut inside, and that was a big error. But other than that, you got to be fair to Mitrovic, you got to give him credit. What a finish that was! And it wasn't like it was an easy finish. So fair play to Mitrovic, but Romero's got to be doing better in those situations. But a really good comeback anyway.
Let's move on to Eric Dier, who was obviously next to Romero in the centre of the back 3, and I thought it was a good display from Eric Dier, to be honest. What really stood out to me was how accurate his long balls were yesterday. I mean, every single one, or not every single one, but for the most part was on the money yesterday, and that was really good to see. I thought he played with authority. He was commanding that back line really well yesterday, and nothing really got past him. I think there was one moment that they got past him defensively, but all in all, it was a really good display.
Yeah, the first Mitrovic shot, which got deflected and forced Lloris into a save, was caused by Dier kind of being sloppy on the ball, and that was not a great moment from him. And there was another moment where Mitrovic absolutely turned him. For the 3rd time I can say this season that Dier's been turned in a poor area. It happened against Wolves. It happened against I think it was Forest. It happened once, and it happened once today. He's gone for the aggressive press, and he's kind of been outmuscled and put us in a poor position. But by and large, another very dominant display from Dier, and his passing to the wing backs is something that really goes under the radar. How effective that is, getting us up the pitch and getting us in really good positions, and it sets up attacks so often. So really happy with him in general. Should have scored as well. Good ball in from Richarlison, and he had a chance just outside the 6-yard box, which he blazed over. So I'll be disappointed with that, but I think it was another good display from him.
Let's move on to Clément Lenglet. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. I'm really happy with his display coming in for his first game for Tottenham Hotspur in a competitive match. Started off the game unbelievably well as he drove forward into the midfield, really starting off an attack. His distribution was on show as well, especially in that first half as he was pinging it up the field really accurately, and defensively I think that he did really well as well. But I did feel like he had a much better first half than he did in the second half, where in the second half I didn't really see him drive forward or make those yard raking balls that we did see in the first half.
Yeah, I felt in the first half his passing was a lot more incisive, and I think it actually set up a couple of opportunities where led to Richarlison getting the nutmeg and setting up Son with a chance, which he blazed over the bar. That led from a really accurate long lay pass down the line, and there was another one which he fizzed into Harry Kane, which led to Son hitting the bar. So his passing was really causing Fulham trouble, and as well he was calm and composed on the ball, didn't make too many mistakes. If I remember, obviously there was that one slip which led to a throw in, but other than that, really calm. Defensively, made some really important blocks from shots. So obviously one that led to Mitrovic getting a deflection, which indeed went in, but Lenglet was getting in the way of shots and things like that. Could have done better, I guess, passing wise in the second half, but I thought in general really confident display for his first start, and when it comes to mistakes he made less than the other two, so I'm really happy with him.
Moving on to Emerson Royal, 7s all round from us, and I felt that Emerson did have a strong game like the rest of the team. Defensively, completely on point yesterday as he was being really aggressive in that defensive positions for us. He did get up the pitch really well. He was in countless amount of good positions. There were a couple of times where he put in good balls into the box and we didn't capitalise on them, but for the most part in his attacking play he was quite frustrating.
Yeah, he could have done a bit better going forward. I think dribbling-wise was pretty good. He was taking on his man a few times and he linked up with Richarlison fairly well. And one thing I like about Emerson, which he doesn't get credit for, he's just a lot of the time in when we're going forward, he's just always an outlet. He's always free. He's always kind of like a free player we can give the ball to. We know he's going to be available. And that comes from his engine and his physicality, which is important. But his final ball, more often than not, lets you down. And that's the most frustrating thing with him, which he just... I think it's going to be something we'll keep mentioning until he improves it. And there are some games where he seems okay, but you never really come away with it thinking, oh, what a ball, what a unbelievable shot, what a pass, and things like that. Very rarely happens for Emerson in his game. So it's something he needs to work on. But I think in general, he's having a good start to the season, and he's not like the liability maybe he was at times last season, which is really good.
Yeah, definitely. Which moves us on to the midfield. Let's talk about Rodrigo Bentancur. 8 all round from us, and for me, it was his best performance of the season so far, and it was so welcome to have him back in the team after Bissouma didn't play that great against West Ham last week. So I think Bentancur put in a really, really strong display. I was saying he's my man the match yesterday, but on reflection, I probably would have gone for one of the top two in Kane or Richarlison. But in terms of Bentancur, I thought he was so combative in the middle. His energy levels were really high. He was buzzing around like a bee for pretty much the whole time. Didn't let the Fulham midfield have a moments of rest. And he was doing these lovely, like, kind of 1-2 little touches to set us on our way. And he drove us forward as well. And he's forming a really good partnership with Pierre.
Yeah, after what happened in midweek, against Forest, we got concussed, and you're thinking hopefully it's not too bad of an injury. He obviously missed Wednesday night, and you could see we missed that composure that he brings in the centre of the park, which Bissouma didn't quite get up to speed just yet on Wednesday. And I think Bentancur just gives an air of relaxation when he's on the ball, and like you never panic too much when he's being pressed. You've got the feeling that he's got this covered, and he uses strength so well. And I think his pressing, something that he does, he just covers so much ground, and I think that goes under the radar because people see him in this languid style when he's on the ball, like a bit like Berbatov-esque, but the amount of work he puts in off the ball and ground he covers is absolutely brilliant, and it gives us so much. He gives so much to the team in that aspect and allows us to cover other areas. So I think he was back to his best, really, Bentancur, and it was really great to see him back in the lineup.
Absolutely, and that moves us on to his midfield partner in the Viking, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. 8 all round for Højbjerg. Another really strong display in the centre from Højbjerg. I mean, he was just everywhere. Yesterday he was everywhere. He was helping the team defensively as he always does. He was driving the team forward with his lovely dinks over the top, and obviously got on the score sheet as well with really good link-up play with Richarlison to get that goal, and a really nice finish as well. One touch and then bang into the bottom corner. So I think Højbjerg, he really is standing up for the team this year, and he's putting in these performances now week in, week out. And like we keep saying every week, he's been our most consistent performer under Conte, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic again. Obviously, he got the opening goal as well. Really, when we really needed it, because didn't want to go in a half-time, having wasted all those opportunities going in a 0-0. But you know, he really tried his best as well. Before that, he had played a really nice little dink pass over the top to Richarlison, who ended up getting tagged by the keeper, and Kane nearly scored. He was just causing a nuisance everywhere. And obviously his tackling and interceptions are second to none. We all know that with Højbjerg. He covers every blade of grass. He's such a hard worker. But I think his ability on the ball goes under the radar because he's not a flashy player on the ball. And I think he's becoming very quietly more and more effective on the ball as time is going on. He's setting up more chances. He's already got 2 goals a season, which is exactly what he got last season and the season before that. So he's already matched that tally. So he's starting to get forward a bit more, and I'm really liking his performances. I think he's becoming a really good box-to-box midfielder, getting paired with Bentancur or Basuma. He's still playing fairly well, and I'm really liking Højbjerg at the moment. I think he's been our most consistent performer so far this season.
All right, let's move on to Ryan Sessegnon. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. And I thought it was a really good display. I mean, he was attacking the fullback all the time and time again. He was getting beating the fullback as well, getting good balls into the box, albeit there were some frustrating moments where you're thinking, just get a good ball in the box, and we're found wanting a few times. But he did impact the game in a really positive way. It was his desire to get the ball into the box for Harry Kane for his goal. He had a really good shot where Ben Leno was equal to it and made a really good save. And obviously for Richarlison's offside goal, he put the ball in as well. So I think there were some really good moments in there from Sessegnon. And when you've got someone like Perisic waiting in the wings to take your spot, I think these are the performances we want to see.
Yeah, I think he did really well. I think first half he was a bit more frustrating. The second half he upped his game a bit more, which is really good to see, because when Perisic is the one you're competing with, you definitely need to have some good offensive displays to keep up with what he offers. And I think Sessegnon in the end did that. He obviously forced a really good save out of Leno in the second half, tipped it, fingertip save he thought he was forced into to stop Sessegnon scoring. There was another chance he had he put it on his right foot, tried to curl into the far corner, got just wide. And then obviously his persistence for the second goal was what got us there, and obviously made a tap in for Harry Kane. So I think all in all, I think his crossing still wasn't at his best, but I think he was offensively trying to score, get on the score sheet, and nearly did. And I think he was causing problems for Tete at left wing back, and again he was getting forward a lot. So very positive again from Sessegnon.
Let's move on to another debutant in Richarlison. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 9. And it was an absolutely sensational performance from Richarlison. Like I said, for many players today, he was at it from the first minute to the last minute, and he just did not stop. The energy levels in this guy is absolutely unbelievable, and he had quality to match it as well. Obviously, with the link-up play with Højbjerg, great assist there. He was linking up really well with Son, but I think the key link-up on the day was him and Kane, because I think they were linking up really well all day long. He had that goal that was ruled off for offside. Obviously, he got booked for taking off his shirt in a celebration there. He had another chance where it was a really nice volley on the edge of the area that hit the post, which he was unlucky from. And he pretty much did everything apart from score a goal yesterday.
Yeah, he was absolutely everywhere. He was a buzz of energy. He really does liven up the team whenever he gets on the ball, and he's exciting, man. His direct dribbling style really puts defenders under pressure, makes them choose, makes them decide. It opens up space as well when he does that for other players. And you can see that he set up a chance for Son in the first half, which he nearly scored. He blows over the bar. He got the assist for Højbjerg's goal with a nice little touch into him. The only thing I would say about his first half performance is occasionally had some really good attacks, which he overhit passes or his touch wasn't great, and he could have had a goal if his touch was a bit better in that first half. But second half, he kept it up. I thought he was absolutely brilliant throughout the whole 90 minutes in all. And I think it's going to be tough to leave him out now, the way he's performing and impacting games. And the fact that he played like that on his first start, he should have. It's unlucky not to have a goal as well. He hit the post with an unbelievable volley, and then he had the one ruled offside as well with nice running in. But he showed he can play in that striker role as well in deputy for Harry Kane. So really encouraging from Richarlison, especially on his first start. And he just needs that first goal for Spurs. And you saw how much it meant to him when he thought he had it. It was such a shame that offside ruled it out. But hopefully it will come sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and didn't spend too much time on the floor as well.
Well, he spent a bit of time, but not too much.
Not as much as he has done the previous few games. Let's move on to Heung-min Son. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8, and I thought it was a much improved performance from Heung-min Son. He was very much involved for the majority of time he was on the pitch. Had his chances to score, but he was getting in the right places at the right time. He was linking up really well with Richarlison, linking up really well with Kane. And again, like I said for Richarlison, he did everything but score a goal. Sonny did everything but score a goal or assist a goal. I thought his energy levels were really good. Seemed to have... in front of goal, it was a bit poor, as it has been. But I think all he needs is that goal. And I think the confidence is going to come back and we're going to see the old Sonny back. But it was much improved yesterday.
Yeah, he seemed fairly confident, to be fair, throughout the game. I mean, his set pieces and crossing was really strong. Obviously, he had that one straight in, and that was ruled off for offside. He set up Richarlison with a header from a left-footed cross, and that was a shame because I think a defender blocked it and it went over the bar. Obviously, he had 2 chances as well to score in the first half. One just outside the 6-yard box, which deflected over, and then one he hit the bar, which was a really good chance and so close to getting on the score sheet. But he was linking up so well with the front three. He was a problem that Fulham failed to deal with throughout a lot of the game, and he was unlucky not to be on the score sheet a couple of times. But a much better, more involved performance from him and Son. And again, as a bit with Richarlison, needs that goal, and I'm sure it will start to flow for him.
And last but not least for the playing personnel is Harry Kane. Sim gives him an 8. I give him a 9. And I think he was the hub of everything for us going forward yesterday. I really thought he was sensational. His passing accuracy was on show yesterday. He knitted everything together, creating chances at will. His link-up play with Sonny and Richarlison, like I mentioned before, was absolutely top-notch. He was being aggressive with the front line, winning a few headers in the air as well, and then obviously capped it off, sealing the points for us with that goal to put us 2-0 up.
Yeah, and I think he deserved it as well. First half, he was chief playmaker, creating so many chances. Laid it on a plate for Son, who hit the bar, and he was laying it on a plate for Richarlison, who with better touches would have probably got on the score sheet. And then he got it laid on the plate for him in the second half with a poacher's finish. He forced Leno into a few saves as well. So Harry Kane, still a very, very strong performance with him, and he's normalising these level of performances where you look at this performance, you're thinking it's just classic Kane performance, but it's such a high level, it's incredible, and I think he's developing so well under Conte into that perfect striker that can do everything, and I'm absolutely loving it. And now we have more threats as well from the wide areas and from Richarlison, and it's really coming together. And I think Kane is loving it as well. He looks like he's loving life under Conte.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, he did a little match review on his Twitter. I mean, I've never seen him do that before. It seems like a little Harry Kane is definitely happy at Spurs right now, which is what we want. He was just saying how it was a good performance, dominating performance. We should have done more in front of, just the standard stuff basically. Right. But he's never really done that before.
Interesting. Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on to the final one. Is Antonio Conte. 8s all round from us. And I think he managed this game really well yesterday. I think the way he set up the team with Lenglet and Romero at the back gave us a really good foundation to work on. It was very different to our other performances where we kind of rely on counter-attacks, and that's how we're creating our chances. I felt we were creating chances at will yesterday, not only in transitions, but also building up play from the back. So really good display, managerial display from Conte yesterday. Got to give Harry Kane a rest as well. So I think that all in all, really good display. I just think he'll be a bit downbeat from us not being as clinical as maybe we would have liked yesterday, but we got the 3 points at the end, and the team suffered for it in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, thankfully the wasted chances didn't cost us, but you have to say I think Conte's managing the squad pretty well right now. I think the way he's brought in Lenglet and Richarlison, and I think it's credit to Conte that they look so at home in the first 11 in their first starts. And I think that goes to his work in pre-season and what he's done with them on the training ground, because it could be very easy for new signings to not look
like Bissouma, yes, on midweek.
So I think Conte definitely deserves credit for that. I think the way we're playing at the moment is reminiscent to when we were battering teams last season, near the end of last season, in that really great spell we had. So I think we're playing really well. We've got that solid base of a team, and I think Conte must be very happy with the results we're getting, and that's what we kept saying as well. Like, we're not playing that well, but we're getting results. But we are going to start playing well at some point, and hopefully this is the start of that.
Yeah, yesterday was the real first signs of this team clicking. It really was, and I think Lenglet, Romero, the midfield were all a massive part of that, and obviously the front line as well, with Richarlison added to that. So credit to Conte for bring it all together, but I wasn't really worried that this moment would come. I always
knew exactly, which made it all the better that we were getting the results when we weren't playing well.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is our player ratings for today. Let me know in the comment section below what your ratings are. If you agree with our ratings, let us know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.